Welcome to the Wellness on Tap podcast with your host, Dr. Debs Eastwood.
It's traumatic. Change and shifting is massively traumatic. And I think, luckily, with things like homeopathy that I'm trained in, I know that I can trust the healing crisis. But for other people, it's like, why is this getting worse before it gets better? I mean, we say that in language, don't we? We know so much. There's so many things that come through as like hidden codes in just our normal language, normal day-to-day stuff, like they're not on my wavelength, or, you know, things get worse before they get better, or it's always darkest before the dawn. But where did they come from? They come from something, I believe. I think we're a lot smarter than we give ourselves credit for. And the healing crisis is very important, especially when you're going through a massive shift. Yeah. And to be able to be brave enough to face it rather than suppress it and elongate it or make the suffering worse. Yeah. So that's really good. Like, now it's done.
Yes,
it's probably not good at the time.
No, it wasn't a lot of fun at the time. But no, like you say, I've started, as I've becoming more and more awake and more spiritual, thinking that you mentioned about the intelligence. It's things we need to remember, isn't it?
That's all we have to do.
That concept, even as much as a year or so ago, wasn't in my understanding. Yeah. And it makes such a lot of sense.
I am going through such a lot of remembrance at the moment. And I think that's actually the key, because when you're thrown into the world that I'm in and you're in, and lots of people that have been on the podcast are in, and the people that are watching, when you're in a world of, well, we all wake up every day looking to make a living. But if you go one step further and start your own business, and then go even further and become an entrepreneur, whatever that means, you're like sovereign for everything that happens to you financially, and you're the be all and end all of your destiny in so many ways. We have to shift an enormous amount to get there. And there's a lot of this turbulence and healing crises that might not necessarily be physical, but they're certainly mental and emotional. They're massive. Yeah. And I'm going through one at the moment, which is much more spiritual, but it's absolutely going to help all my business stuff. Because you guys and my community are my life, the way that I express myself. So I just love it. And I'll give you all the gory details if you'd like them.
You can say as much or as little as you like, my darling. I mean, you know the sort of things I like to talk about on here. I like to dig deep into what's going on for people. Yeah. And as a part of the community that you head up, we know, and I'm speaking for everybody because I'm certain in this that I can, we know that, you know, you look out for us, you appreciate all of us and have a lot of love for us all. And it's all so reciprocal and easy, and, you know, you've just got to look at what happened at the awards. Just this beautiful energy.
It's amazing. I honestly believe, and I didn't know this about life before, but I honestly believe that all things to do with healing, to do with making the world a better place, to do with finding who you are as a person, to do with taking control and mastery of your own physical, mental and emotional destiny, comes from reconnection. Not from connection, reconnection. So it's a remembrance. And that makes me happier. Oh, I'm getting tingles. I've now developed 2 little psychic senses. I say 2, 1 psychic sense that I never had before. So I just mentioned the tingles. I get goosebumps on either side of my scalp for different things. Ooh. This is very recent, Debs.
Ooh.
Very recent. And the first person that actually articulated this was Fabienne Miller, who is the most amazing woman. She's a great interior designer, but she designs from the heart, and she creates incredible healing in spaces. So, you know, she goes in and she heals these spaces with her amazing aesthetic and her beautiful soul. But actually, she's a healer, and I'm allowed to say that now. And she says that she gets her impulses from something bigger than her via these tingles. And I hope I'm allowed to say it. I'm sure I am. But she always talks to me about certain things. And when we do talk, she'll get a tingle and it'll be left side for one, and right side for another. And I was like, I'm really jealous of that. Like, imagine having your own dowsing rod on your scalp. Yeah. That's fabulous. Can I have some of that? Well, something was listening, because in the last couple of months, I have that now. I literally can get goosebumps on the right side of my head that tell me when I'm just in the same way the right hand side of your body is your projector out into the world. So I know when I'm saying something of truth. And I literally said before I came on here today to myself, my higher self, oversoul, whatever you want to call it, give me the right words to say that make the biggest and best impact, because it ain't about me. And as soon as I know I'm saying something of worth, I'll get the tingles on the right hand side of my head. But the left hand side of my head is when I'm picking up information or absorbing information. Or this is something like, when you see 11:11, you're like, oh, what's your thoughts? But now I get it in this. It's like, oh, this is important. This is something meaningful. And so now I'm getting it as a physiological reaction. At first, I thought I had a nervous system problem. I was looking at all the, Dr. Google was telling me all kinds of things. But it's proved to be right over, and I've tested it. I'm a statistician. I'm a scientist. I've tested it. It's reproducible. It's brilliant. And I'm so grateful. So, yeah, I think everything. I think we have inside ourselves hidden, highly advanced technology that, organic technology, I mean, not AI, although who knows? Who knows? There's another story. I know, that's a whole other story. I believe we have hidden knowledge, advanced biological technology that can actually help us remember who we really are. Because I really believe if each individual remembers, then you'd be so in awe of your own magnificence, not in a narcissistic way, but you'd never have a reason to disconnect from anyone or anything again. And that is what I believe the new earth is, a reconnection, a coherent group of sentient beings. I've gone deep straight away.
That was wonderful. Go for it. Fill your boots.
Well, I can't really talk. So I've got another little group online called Dark Matters, and I just seed little things in there. It's usually full of memes taking the absolute piss out of life, because it is funny when it's not terrifying. But I like to seed little things in, because first and foremost, when I came out of banking, I left banking to become a healer. I became double qualified in homeopathy. And what I mean by that is I went and did classical, and then I also went and did shamanic stuff and homeopathy. So I wanted to learn how to connect with plants. To this day, I'm looking around at the plants. I get offended when people use plant medicines just for fun. I don't like that is not the shamanic way. So, no. And then people having bad trips, and, everyone takes mushrooms now. It's like there's a spirit attached to that. That's sound like I'm preaching a bit, but if you don't do it with integrity, it's a bit like sleeping with someone on your first date. It's just a physical thing, but actually, you want to be actually having a relationship with these plants and these spirits. They're coming through, and they want to commune with you, but you're just popping a pill and making no conscious effort to respect or thank the spirit animal or plant or whatever it is that's connected with that particular thing. So, yeah, I sit there watching, trying not to say too many things like that in public, because everyone's microdosing everything these days, aren't they? No one really, people want the result, but they don't want to put the work in. But that's with everything, I think. But I do think that spiritual evolution and development has been commercialized and made into a, take this pill and you're going to wake up in 24 hours. It's crazy. It's wild. What's happening?
Yeah, that's just stupidity, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Fast food. Yeah. Fast track spiritual evolution. What?
No. In a word.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So, and it's hard. Like, spiritual evolution is hard, and it's a spiral. You don't just, you keep repeating patterns, and it looks like you're going in a circle, but you're not. You're going up. Well, hopefully. Yeah. And it is, at the moment, my whole thing, and which is why I'm so glad I've came to you today, is I've just had like the most amazing revelations coming from the thing that I was trained in the first place, which is sacred mathematics.
Ooh.
Debs, I've got to tell you.
Please do.
I've got to tell you, I've made my bed for the first time in 47 years. I'm not going to swear, I just mouthed that. I have intolerance for disorder around me now. That has never happened before. If anyone knows me, I'm the laziest, most untidy, chaotic person. You probably know that because you're in my community. And, I'll a lot of the way I deal with my systems is shambolic. I have no love for rules, rigidity, anything like that. And I also think it was just as part of who I am. I'm like artistic. No, it wasn't. I was incoherent. I was actually not in a ordered place in my energy field. And so that's what reflected, as above, so below, as within, so without. So when I'm surrounded by a whole load of mess, that's actually a reflection of how my thoughts are. It's extremely chaotic. And since being exposed to this sacred geometry, these amazing frequencies that are in music that anyone can just go on YouTube and find, I'm tidying up. And my family are like, hell is going on? What have you done with Liz? It's like she's been possessed by some, like, I don't know, matronly woman from the 1950s. I'm going around cooking shit and cleaning up and doing stuff that other people would do. They're getting up in the morning ready to do their chores. They're done. And it's effortless, Debs. And I have done nothing but look at mandalas, listen to music, and do sacred maths, like literally do formulas. Like, what's going on? So I'm going through this at the moment. I don't know. I haven't got the result yet, but when I get the result, you can be damn sure I'm bringing it back to HNC and Debs because something's going on.
Yes.
It's coherence. And I believe what you were saying about, when you were just talking earlier about having voices that tell you things or nudges or instincts. Presence is where we're all converging towards. I believe that we are, channeling, everyone's channeling their large, huge soul into this tiny little body. And it takes time for us to become strong enough to actually ground it. And sometimes you just get a big fat slap around the face, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't listen to the little nudges and the little voices, and so they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, and then the universe goes, actually, I'm just going to go for it here because you're not going to listen.
It's so true. How many times, even astrologically, so when I was doing the shamanic training in my early 20s, I did a lot of Chinese medicine stuff. I did a lot of astrology and numerology, and I'm half Egyptian, so numerology is very strong in me. My name and my birth date both go to 8, and I've got another 8 in my sign as well. So I was always destined. Like, I believe in destiny, but I also believe in free will. And so it's like, how do you marry those two things up? Without going into great detail mathematically, it's a multidimensional answer. We are multidimensional, so we can do both. I believe we're in the eternal now, but we're also directing the future and the past from the now. Yeah. So where was I going with that? Yeah, so I have always had this, like, one foot in one world, in the alternative medicine arena, but one foot in the other world where, I remember voluntarily at the age of 15 getting extra vaccinations because I was so scared and I was in such a fearful state, and I would go without telling my mother. And I was just like, just jab me with anything, just give me all. I want all the drugs and I want all the protections. And that was that was a scary time. So I don't blame anyone for not knowing. It's freaking confusing and overwhelming. There's so much information out there. Yeah. So as I became more, I suppose, grounded in my knowledge, and I think it is all about finding the right people to learn from. Yeah. You've got to choose well. Then things became a lot easier. Life isn't easy, but it's easier than it used to be, because I do believe through some very basic changes I've made, and obviously working with Winford, who I know is going to be a guest soon, our brain receives our soul, I believe. And if we make the changes to our physiology, we can receive a lot more of who we are. And when that presence actually gets to be part of your daily life, so it doesn't need to give you a real kick up the backside, life's just funner and you become luckier because you're actually just going with the flow instead of fighting it.
Yeah, you're letting things in that are right for you instead of resisting.
We resist our greatest magnificence all the time. Like on the car here, there's a couple of hour journey and there's a few things I haven't pressed go on because like, what if people see me? That's a huge thing in healing. Like, what if people see me? What if people question me? Like, it's safe in my small community of, I know it sounds a lot, but 400 odd people. It's like I feel safe to say anything. Yeah. But going out there in the world, releasing a book, you know, being seen to say things about health or healing or life or whatever, it's absolutely terrifying. But the more, even saying it now, I can feel like my physiology reacting. But actually, we do it all the time and people hide their light. I'm sure that's where that comes from. Stop hiding light under a bushel. Yeah. Because they hide their light because of the fear of the consequences, because it doesn't feel safe yet. Everything we do is about safety. Everything drills down to safety. But imagine who we would be if we didn't have to worry about feeling safe.
That's all our primitive brain, isn't it? Protecting us from, you know, when we did have physical things out there, more so than we do today, than we had to. Yeah. We had to be protected from.
Absolutely. And it makes sense to women, particularly, I know, it's, you know, obviously roles have changed, but we are warriors because we're constantly looking for danger everywhere. You know, with 5 children, looking around and making sure, or what, you know, is that person home now or whatever. It's the same as being in a cave and having your kids here and making sure that they're not, you know, one's not crawling off the edge of a cliff. Like, you've literally got to do, it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff, and it just doesn't seem to change. You just have to learn to reconcile yourself with that's a part of you that you have to accept. I don't think you can stop worrying. I think that makes you a very strange person if you don't worry at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Borderline psychopathic if you don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the other extreme, isn't it?
It is. I tell you what, a massive revelation I had. Sorry, I got excited then. I need to make sure I don't move around too much. You know, we had that heat wave recently and it was so uncomfortably hot and I couldn't sleep and I was getting really grumpy. And even the way I was coming across online, I just was like, oh, I need to just stop posting. I was just taking everything out on everyone. And I realised it's just, I absolutely hate the heat. I really do. For someone who's half Egyptian, I just like doesn't work. My blood needs the cold. I love the weather at the moment because it's just warm enough, but it is a little cool breeze.
Yes.
And I'm also someone that hates the extreme cold. So I'm always moaning about it being cold. And then when I was hot for about 5 days in a row, I'd actually had enough of myself. I was like, I don't want to live in a body anymore. I've actually had enough. And I was very dramatic about it. And then he had a storm and then the cooler weather came. And I walked out without a coat and I embraced the rain and I embraced the cold. Now, any other time I would have been shivering, my teeth chattering. So it was exactly the same environmental conditions that used to piss me off at first for the, you know, most of my life as a British person in the cold. But because it was, because I had perspective, I loved it. And I just thought to myself, so all this time I could have been happy in the cold, even though it's not particularly pleasant, even though it makes you contract instead of expand, even though it's uncomfortable, I could have chosen to be happy. And it was like, so how many other things can we choose to accept? I'm not saying tolerate things that can be changed, but when there are things that you just have to accept, like we all get older, we all ache more, we all, you know, we all lose our beauty. I don't think we do actually think we get more beautiful, but you know what I mean? People will moan about their looks and their wrinkles and their whatever. I don't even bother now. I don't even do my hair anymore. I just stick a ponytail and stick a wig on the end. Like, I don't... I can reveal that at the end. Although everyone knows I do that now. I don't hide anything. I used to judge so many things in life as negative, but we've always got a choice. And I think that's a huge part of healing as well. Like, just our attitude, we can change that at any time. Any time.
Yeah, we can. No, it's all about, for me, being in the right environment for me as an individual to be able to make the choices that will actually go forward to make me happy.
Yeah.
But that's a path, isn't it, that you've got to be open to putting your first foot on.
I get goosebumps when you say first foot because, when I've just been to watch and listen to Robert Edward Grant, who is an amazing mathematician, but he's a philosopher and he's a musician. And he's just an amazing guy, polymath. And we were talking about reality, what reality is. And he's done some incredible mathematics. I highly recommend. Now, it was Nat Van Zee from the community that got me onto his system, the architect, that you can ask questions to and it answers back. So anyway, the whole premise of his work is to try and figure out this sort of unifying theory of everything that he can describe with mathematics. And he's done some incredible stuff. And since being around that, it has just made sense of everything. And one of the things he says is not to accept the unacceptable, but we always have control. And when we are just in quantum physics, have you heard of the double slit experiment? So you've got, so in quantum physics, they've done this, it's reproducible. They fire a load of subatomic particles, I think it's electrons, over a short amount of space. And basically, they should be going through each of the slits equally and predictably. But when you look at it, if there's an observer, it changes them. And it collapses them from wave functions to this random pattern to these particles. So it's actually, it's amazing. We've got so many experiments from them. I can't remember when that was done. That's quite a while back. But since then, quantum physics is getting closer and closer to explaining what is going on in the world and how important consciousness is in terms of what renders as reality. So when you said about taking the next step, Robert last week was saying that we are here now, but how do we know, just like in a computer game, that anything else exists? We don't. Maybe we render it as we walk out that door. All the particles reassemble themselves into the outside and Winford and stuff. And what if, just like a computer game, we are all just rendering reality in a co-creative way? And if we actually start to think like that, then it gives us, if we were to have a hive mind and have a collective focus, we could change how it renders. And I really believe that, which is why I believe so much of the crap that comes through is constantly helping and assisting us to not believe we have that power to render a different reality. And he talks about Mandela effects and how we can go back in time and change things. It's just crazy, wild, amazing stuff, and I love it. But one of the hidden reasons behind bringing a community of brilliant people together is because I want us to render a new earth for us. So we'll start off with us becoming, the ideal thing is everyone becomes financially free, so we've got time to do experiments. But then, what else can you do? And one of the things he said was the thing that's going to change the world is small groups of people working in coherence, not just with their higher selves, but with each other. Oh yeah, coherence is massive, isn't it? Amazing. Massive. It's amazing. I mean, we know it when we talk about wavelengths and we talk about, when you walk into a room and someone's got presence, you actually feel better when someone's got presence, even if their presence isn't necessarily on your wavelength. You actually feel safer because you can predict them. Yeah. Because they are a solid pattern. You actually go, right, I know what's going on here. The things that piss us off that we don't necessarily articulate is when someone's being fake. We know it. Our nervous system knows, our body always knows when someone's being fake, and sometimes they don't even know they're being fake, which is why I think a really big part of healing is, and in homeopathy particularly, it's about we go back. It's called the return of old symptoms. You kind of go back in time like layers of an onion, and you might have to go back and experience a pathology or disease that you had a little bit earlier in your life, not in its full form, but just as a memory, as an echo. So perhaps you had eczema and you suppressed it, and then you'd have to go back and suddenly you're like, oh shit, my eczema's back. This homeopathy is crap. But actually it's really good. It's a return of old symptoms. It's a layer to be released. Yeah. And the more layers that get released, the closer you get to your true form again. And so one of my goals now is to get as close to my true form so that I can actually help people become more themselves by literally just being with them. Just literally sitting in my strength, in my presence, and just going, I can see your oversoul right now, and that's what I'm going to communicate with. I'm not going to communicate with any of the stories. I'm not going to communicate with any of the higher pathology levels of the onion. I'm just going to communicate with the real you. And I think there's people way better than me that are doing this already, because you can feel it. And that's what a real good healer is. Someone that comes in and goes, remember, just remember. And if you can phase lock, which is, again, Robert's language. So if you imagine you've got two waves. So this is your wavelength and this is my wavelength. We come together and we amplify. But if we continue our connection, we actually phase lock, and then we become coherent, and we can actually mirror each other. And we can actually take that information over into our other life. And suddenly you become magnetic. Suddenly people, and you're like, well, what did you do? And you're like, well, just hanging out with, some really cool people. And that's why I think, I said it in the car earlier, the whole thing about if you hang out with 3 millionaires, you become the fourth, or if you hang out with 3 drug addicts, you become the fourth. It's not necessarily just about learning habits. It's actually about matching patterns. So my goal is to get as many people as possible to their truest, most authentic selves, no matter what that will be. And they will all be different. It's not like a cult where, we all end up being the same. That's actually highly unhealthy. Like the body. The body has different organs, and so it has to have different differentiated cells. A heart cell wouldn't do very well in the liver. Nope. So we can't have communities where you've all got the same cell unless you are acting as one organ. So my goal is to take that kind of esoteric metaphysical concept and bring it back down to earth, so we all become more ourselves, more powerful, more magnetic, more joyful. Because actually, energy, the world, physics tells us that energy likes to travel down the path of least resistance. So why don't we? Why do we make things so hard?
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We really do.
Yeah.
We do.
We put boundaries in our own way, sometimes physical ones, more often than not metaphorical ones. But we do.
We do. And, I don't blame anyone for anything. I don't subscribe to, you create your own illnesses in a way. In a way, there's some truth in that, but there is so much, it's called miasms in homeopathy. So there's so much we inherit. So there's so many patterns that actually come through our DNA. And some of that will be nothing to do with our mental state now. So we could get abusive, we could get, pathological stuff come through our DNA in terms of patterns. So then that manifests. But whilst I don't blame, I do say to everyone, you have the opportunity to change this. No matter what's happened to you, you get to choose again. So it is an opportunity. That's easy to say when it's, you're in a safe-ish country with all of the benefits that we have here. It's much harder to say when people are really struggling. But again, I think that's cultural sickness. That is where governments and groups of people need to come together and make massive changes to the entire pattern of the culture, because these people can't escape it because they're constantly bombarded by the wrong dissonant patterns. And the other thing is, and I don't know about this stat, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm a nervous mathematician. I don't like to quote stats if they're not true. Most stats are not true. And that is a true stat. Most stats are not true. Again, I was listening to Robert's lecture, and we were talking about how people are so concerned with AI and it becoming sentient and the worries about that. But look at the world. Look at human beings. How many of us are sentient? How many of us are self-aware? How many of us are walking around with presence and actually being reflective of ourselves and how we impact others. Why are we worrying about computers doing this?
Proportion.
Yeah. He actually, I can't remember the proportion now, but it was small.
Yeah.
That actual sentient human beings on this planet, like, is much smaller than you think. Most people are walking around in a dream, having none of their own thoughts, being bombarded by whatever it is external force wants to control them and feed off that energy. And we should be worried about the things that have already caused the problem, not the things that could potentially cause problems.
Yeah.
Because it's us and it's our lack of self-awareness that's causing it.
Yeah. Deal with what's already there and harming us and keeping us dulled down and less of 100%. Who we are.
I think death, disaster, disease all comes from disconnection. And so when you are in a situation where you can see that there's a lot of people that are disconnected, it's incredibly difficult to get out because they're, being governed by some horrible, horrible energies. But there is always a way out, especially if you we're so lucky in this world now. We are connected. The connection of the internet has brought so much. I mean, I owe it my life. Like I would never have connected with you guys ever. There's no way. But of course, with anything, I believe power is neutral. It depends what you do with it. So you can use connection for bad and you can use it to make, we know the richest. I work with the richest people on the planet. I work with people in finance at the very top, at the very, very top. And some of them are great and some of them are not so great. And so you don't have to be connected to the right people to make things happen. You can be connected to the wrong people to make things happen, but there is a cost. There is a cost. And I've been watching that because there was a time in my life I considered whether I should be a bad person because they seem to get what they want.
Thank goodness you made the decision not to.
It was around my mid-20s. I'd done all of this spiritual work and stuff, and I was thinking, why am I not happy? Why am I not fixed? Because I was doing it all from the mind. It wasn't in my body at all. Yeah. It was all just mental. It was a gathering of power. And I think if a lot of people, if they really looked at themselves, they go into spirituality to control the environment, control whatever's out there. It's another way of controlling things. It's not saying necessarily self-reflective. It's give me more knowledge so I can make the world do what I want it to do. It doesn't freaking work.
No.
I did it for 6 years, gathering knowledge. I can pull on that now and it's useful now, but it wasn't then. It actually wasn't. So there's a lot of not fake spirituality, but spirituality that's got into for the wrong reasons. It's people that are lost and they actually just want to control. And that's actually that's self-destructive because it breaches some of the laws that I've now, the Hermetic laws are brilliant. I love the Kybalion. Hard read, really hard read. But the first of the rules is that all, basically everything is mental. All is the mind. So when you gather spiritual knowledge just on a mental basis, you can use it either way. You can go dark or light. So we know there's a lot of people using spiritual knowledge for negative stuff, but you can use it for positive stuff. But I did consider in my mid-20s which way to go. And thank God I'm a statistician because I gather data and I did notice that these people that were making a lot of money, even with this esoteric knowledge, there was a price to pay. There always is. Yeah. So true wealth to me now isn't just the gathering of assets or ways to control or power. It is what we are really here for, which is that remembrance. And the word member is in remembrance.
Yes, I thought that earlier when you said it. Remember. I'm like,
remember. Yeah. We are, every single person is a reflection of part of us. And to me, that gives me the greatest joy is to go, I must be on the right path now because I've got people like Debs. So if Debs is a bit of me, then I'm a bit of her. Things are going really well. And that's when I started to like discern between the spirituality that was getting me absolutely nowhere with the spirituality that actually returns us to oneness, presence, power with and not power over. As soon as people start being gurus and you know, trying to tell people what to do and stuff, you know that's not real spirituality. That's spiritual egoism, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. Even sounds dangerous.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really scary. And unfortunately, there's so many lost people that are not awake, not in the way that we use woke now, but genuinely not like self-aware. If I ask people, when's the last time you had an original thought that didn't come from anyone else's influence? It's a really hard question to answer.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a paradox because at the same time, we're being bombarded with external environmental factors and information, but we are also all of those things. So it's like, how do you work out the difference between where you sit in the universal one? My answer to that is now partial isolation. We have to spend time with ourselves and get really comfortable. And I don't meditate in a normal way. Like I can't sit still. I've got ants in my pants. I've got ADHD. I can't do that. But I found listening to the amazing frequencies, like I said, the things that have changed me even in the last week, I've been listening to a beautiful piece of classical music called Experience by, I don't know, some classical composer, and listening, what is it, 432 hertz stuff, and gazing at mandalas. I didn't know what mandalas were. I just thought they were pretty. They are literally reminding, it's all about remembrance, reminding you of who you are, the structures that make up the very DNA that you're made of. We are musical. If you took our, our subatomic particles and really examined them, we would find that we were mostly empty space. So what is it that's animating us? What is it? I think it's like 99.9% empty space, and there's such a small amount of matter, but it's moving so fast it feels solid. Yeah. And so what incredible intelligence is behind that? We are part of a massive orchestra, and it's so beautiful. And that's where I think, that's what I was missing when I was in my 20s. I just thought, if I learn this stuff, I'll be able to manifest. Well, there's a big part missing in manifestation, and it's presence.
Yes, totally. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just things like if I'm making myself a cup of tea, instead of charging off and doing 40 million other things that we've all got to do, I try and just stand there and just feel the warmth of the cup, see the tea changing colour. This is something that the gorgeous Karen Kenneby has taught me. And just that, so that I'm actually thinking about what is happening right now. What am I feeling? And this is just a start, isn't it? But if you don't have those start points, you're never going to move forward, are you?
I believe if you don't do, this is why those tea ceremonies are so important, that they seemingly do nothing but make tea in China or Japan. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it's China. Making a tea and being in your body and being aware of all the senses that we've got. I believe one of the things I was taught by Yubraj Sharma, who is was my shamanic homeopathy teacher. He said that is the best way to collapse all other versions of yourself. You bring your energy away from other dimensions, and by doing that, you restore your power. So your presence, if you imagine your presence being everywhere, it's amazing, isn't it? So you've got your oversoul, and then you've got all your like different versions of yourself multidimensionally. Because now we're getting to a point where quantum physics is like, I don't know if we'll ever be able to say this is definitely the truth, but like string theory and multi-dimensions are just so, it makes sense mathematically, and I trust the maths. So you've got our oversoul and like our higher self, and then all of these different versions of ourselves. And if you think about the energetic output of that, If you are in this life and you are thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past, you are literally projecting energy away from the eternal now. And you can't access your true self. Your presence has got no safe space to be incarnated, because it's like, so where should I go? What am I doing? Yeah. So I've definitely started, I did a mindfulness course a while back, years ago, and I remember having cystitis at the time. Did I say that right? Cystitis. And nothing I did was fixing it. It wasn't bacterial, it wasn't emotional. Well, it possibly was emotional, but there was nothing they could do. And I'd had it months, and it was really pissing me off, because it does. Because you always feel like you need a wee. And the only thing that fixed me was mindfulness. I just randomly, I didn't go for that reason. I just went because it was local. And I really believe the body can heal itself from anything. I think I read somewhere that there is a human on earth that has spontaneously healed. I'm going to say combust. That was from the 80s, wasn't that?
That's Pink Floyd. Yeah.
Yeah. There's apart from, I can't think what disease it is. It was some kind of poisoning or a decapitation. But apart from the ones that obviously you can't heal back from, there's not a disease on this earth that a human hasn't spontaneously had a remission from. So it's possible. And as soon as that becomes in your awareness, this is why I think this whole stuff with sacred geometry is really powerful, is because you say you go and see somebody. Why do people go and get really excited about going and seeing someone? And you just think they're telling the same story you could get off YouTube. It's because that person in their energetic field has patterns. And you go and you can actually somehow, subconsciously or unconsciously, pick that up, do a copy and paste and stick it in your field. And that's what I believe influence is. Again, it can happen. You can do it negatively or positively. Yes. So I remember there was a lady, and she wrote the book Dying to Be Me, and I can't remember her name. She had cancer all through her body. Yeah,
I've heard of the book. I can't remember either.
It's a great book. It's a great book. I thought about her this morning, so that's probably why I thought about it. Oh, I'm going to tell you something in a minute. So exciting about future selves. But she had cancer ravaging every single part of her body. It was everywhere. And she'd had some treatment and it wasn't working. And then she had a near-death experience. And I hope I'm telling the story right. But in short, when she came back to her body, the realization she had was, I am so magnificent. Of course I'm okay. Like, why wouldn't I be? Isn't it? Yeah. I'm so magnificent. Is there a way to be magnificent? I think we've been trained so hard to not believe in ourselves, because it's like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Or that's dangerous. If someone becomes too powerful, that's dangerous. So let's squish that. How many people do we know with immense power that actually correlate with or associate with great good? It's not as many as the ones we associate with bad. No. We associate, as a human, in human society, we associate power with negativity. So no wonder everyone's scared of it. No wonder everyone puts blocks up towards it. So when she came back, she's like, I'm magnificent. You can make people feel very uncomfortable by saying you're magnificent, because it triggers every little thing about them that wants to go, I'm not. But they are.
Yeah, they just don't see it.
Yeah. And that's why getting in front of people, being around people that have achieved that in a positive way, and I think there are millions of them, I'm going to say us, I'm getting there, it will actually change the way people feel about power. We are deserving of power. We are so incredibly powerful. It's wild that we're walking around rendering realities. Most of the functions of our beautiful, miraculous bodies are unconscious. We're like, you know what? I got that. You don't have to think about that.
Can you imagine if we had to? Oh my goodness gracious me. I'm just going to make a few more red blood cells now. Excuse me a minute. I'll be back.
We've literally got the best teams in the world working for us. Yeah. There's various different parts of our consciousness or our information or our higher selves or what, something's in charge here. And it's magnificent and it's sophisticated and it's beyond any computer. Then we've got our amazing brains. And this is the part that I'm really excited about. I'm researching a lot of, this is why I've had to withdraw for the month of August, is I'm researching retrocausality, because I'm convinced that we can change the past. I'm convinced that we can travel to the future in our minds, and only because I've done it. And I defy anyone to say they've not had an experience in their life where they knew that was going to happen, or they had they meet someone and they have a recognition. This is going to be an important person in my life. I remember the first time I set eyes on the father of my children. I didn't fall in love with him at first sight, but I was like, click, that's somebody. And it was a future, I'm so sure it was a future memory. That's what I call them, future memories.
No, it makes sense.
So I'm researching that now, because again, maybe we're not ready to have that kind of access because we would be too powerful and dangerous. But I actually don't think that's the case at all. I think with the correct coherence, when our presence really comes in, we would only choose the right thing because it would be natural. It would be crazy or irregular or disordered to harm another person. That would make no sense. So it's very difficult to try and talk about non-duality in the world of duality, but that's where I hope humankind is going. I have all these fantasies about the new earth.
Well, I had a strange experience the other day that didn't worry me, that made me laugh and almost burst into tears with joy. And I'm driving down the motorway, for goodness sake. I mean, that is not a joyful experience normally, is it? A plane came over and I just knew that this year, this autumn, somebody is coming on that plane for me.
Wow.
And I just knew it.
Yeah.
And I could see what I was going to be wearing.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And I'm just like, it was just taken over, and it was just, and I can see it and feel it now, but I seriously thought I was going to have to pull over on the motorway because I was that taken over, but in a fantastic way.
If my recognition has any sway, but any strength in this, when you said that, my entire body felt goosebumps. So to me, that's truth.
Yay!
That is truth. And
excellent.
I love that.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I need to.
I will let you know.
My statistician part, I need the data.
Absolutely.
I need to know that this is important.
Does that link into what you were saying then about future selves?
100%. If we live in the eternal now, we were born and we took our first breath and our last breath right now. We are dead and alive. That's a band, isn't it? It was.
Wanted, dead or alive. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We are everything. We are the Alpha and Omega. We're here. We are the singularity. So this is, I can't remember who explained it to me, but linear time's always been a problem for me because I've always had premonitions ever since I was a child. Not very important ones, just silly ones like, a famous person would die in my dream and then they'd die the next day on television, or, I'd know. It always was it was often a premonition that wasn't too far in the future. Mm. There was a massive phenomenon when Princess Diana died. Loads of people were having, you can look that up, look how many people were having that sense of disaster and grief and whatever. And some people actually saw it. So I believe we all have these gifts. It's not a special thing. It just depends on how much presence we give it. Yeah. But I 100% believe that I've been getting messages from my future self for my whole life. To the degree, it could be self-fulfilling prophecy, but I could see myself as a 40-year-old when I was a 7-year-old. And having that constant, dialogue used to make my mum very worried about my mental health because I'd look in a mirror because I didn't know what, is it called scrying, or where you use crystal balls and mirrors and candles. I didn't know any of this stuff. I was brought up Muslim because my mum's Egyptian, so I wasn't allowed to do any of this stuff. But I'd just look at water or look in a mirror and imagine I was talking to somebody and they'd talk back, and I'd get all this information. And then I'd tell my mum and she'd be like, you're actually mental. I did a lot of spinning. So not the bikes. I used to spin. Now, I've only now figured out after years what that spinning was. You know where you see children spin?
Yeah.
It's actually, you're actually activating sacred geometry and spirals in your physiological field to either feel more connected to source or happier or more joyful. But this is exactly the same feeling. Whenever I had a future memory, I'd get an actual, it's that recognition, it's those goosebumps, it's a pleasant feeling. It's almost a sensual feeling, and it lights your sacral. It lights, that's where your kundalini lives, down in your base and in your sacral. This is the energy of life, doesn't it? Isn't it amazing that like we have, the ultimate connection of humans to each other is sexual connection, and this is our sacral chakra is our relationship center. But it doesn't have to be a sexual connection. It can be a sensual connection. It can be like a meeting of mind. It can be a feeling of deep love for somebody you've just met. It's just wild. And I believe all of those things are little hints that that's an important person, little messages from the future. So our body, I believe our body actually can communicate with the future very, very easily. It's the only thing that doesn't is our logical mind. I think that will always try and tell you, because it requires linear space to make patterns. So the way someone described it, and I'd like to credit them, but I can't remember. So, like old-fashioned projectors. So you've got a big bank of pictures, and then obviously you look at them all in turn and it looks like they're moving. Well, you've got to look at them all in turn to see that they're moving. What if you look at them the other way around? It'd look like they were going backwards. Yeah. So it's you looking. It's actually the observer that is making this kind of illusion of linear time.
Like the slit theory. The observer changes.
The observer changes everything. And you are an observer. You are, because you're sitting here and we're observing each other. I think we are. We're both dreaming, but we don't know that either. We're not really sure. Are we here? But then you've got, what if you decide to take a slide from like 2/3 down the pack and just look at that? Remote viewing, astral projection, psychics, all of this stuff that some people just will not deal with because they're like, well, that doesn't make sense with linear time. Well, time ain't linear. It is not linear. At a quantum level, it's not linear. Yeah. So it can't be, because things wouldn't work. Now they're developing, I can't remember what study it is, but there's not confusion, but there's research still happening in what's going on in quantum computing. Like, why are they working so much faster? One theory is that they're actually going into the future, figuring out which phase works quicker and what stops with all the computational waste. Doesn't that make sense? Like,
yeah, it does. It does. There was no negative reaction there for me. It was just like,
that would make full sense. Yeah. So if it mathematically if you can move in any plane in any direction of time and space mathematically, theoretically, I think it's only a matter of time until we know how to do that physically. But obviously the ego is terrified of annihilation because it doesn't have full presence. It doesn't really know that it's a multidimensional thing because it's stuck in 3D. So of course it's stuck with linear time and trying to make sense of things and avoidance of death. But that's our animalistic body. That's frightened of that. But it's amazing, isn't it? When you look at animals themselves, they're not frightened of any of that stuff. No. I do believe they're conscious. Whether they can self-reflect or not is a different thing, but they're certainly emotional, loving. They remember us. We can learn a lot from them. Yes. That's what shamanic work is as well. It's about not just plants, animals. We're surrounded by clues all the time. It's just saying, if there's anything I wanted to say from this, it's just remember, and remember. You need other people. Oh yeah. You can't do this on your own. There has to be a period of time of isolation so you can self-reflect, but there must be an equal, if not more, amount of time, because you need to do that to ensure you get rid of the noise and the unoriginal thoughts, and to get yourself into a clear place where you can be a mirror, a good, clear, clean mirror. So you wipe it off by isolation. This is what I do. And then you spend time with others that are, they can, and they may not be on your wavelength. They'll all show you something different about yourself. But there's no point in being here if we can't behold somebody else to reflect. Because if we're on an island, how do we know we're kind? You know, we don't. How do we know we're anything? We don't. We might go, we might enjoy things. We might enjoy eating a coconut or whatever. But we don't know if we're responsible, kind, loving, all of those things, all of the things that make us human. We don't know any of those things. We'd be an animal on our own. That's why we need to reflect, and we need others. So remembrance is not just about remembering who you are, but it's rejoining with your, I think, soul family.
My head went then straight to the story of Robinson Crusoe.
Oh,
what was one of the first things he did?
Yes.
Created something with a human face.
Yes.
So that he could converse and communicate and not be alone.
I really believe, even the word alone or one, I really believe that's the whole point of it all, is to remember, again, a quote I'm taking from someone else, or I may have made it up. We don't really know where we've come from, and we don't really know where we're going, but we do know that there are others, and that's my church. That's where I go. If I want to connect with God, source, universe, there's a lot you can do on your own, but it's never going to ever be fulfilled. It's never going to be a truly wealthy or healthy life unless you're actually being beheld by somebody else that can reflect the parts of you that are missing. And that's what we're doing. We're like picking up all of our different puzzle pieces and putting them back in our heart. Some of them we might, we have experiences with people that don't tend to bring out the best in us as well. But
absolutely. But
there's still a reflection of something going on. It might be something that we need to work on or let go of, or, everything and everyone could potentially be a missing piece. And so that's what I don't want to do anything else in life but remember. That's it.
Which if you said that to somebody who was in no means awake, they would look at you and go, remember what?
I know.
It's like, well, how long have you got?
We've got so many lifelines to get through. Lifetimes and lifelines. It is, we're in such an exciting time in history right now to wake up. We have got everything going for us. Yes, there's horrendous things going on in the world, but that's again where we test our spiritual muscle. Yeah. That's where we develop character. What are we going to do about it? We're going to just watch it happen. We're not going to are we going to disconnect from those people and say that's nothing to do with me? Mm-hmm. We've got opportunities to become as magnificent as we were always blueprinted to be. So I don't plan on coming back. I don't feel like I want to learn. I mean, Earth is great. Like, I'm having a good time and all of that. But, the cycles of samsara, I think it is, and the illusion of Maya, there's bigger and better to create out there. And I really think that once we are in our full selves and really integrated in our presence and what life is really about, then we can create heaven on earth or other planets. I'll be not Mars. I think that's where Musk is trying to go, isn't it, Mars?
Yeah.
Maybe a multidimensional planet of some kind that he's not there. But I will. I just think our nature is to create and self-reflect and go, oh, am I good? Like, am I clever? I really think that's what it is. Well, that's my little narcissistic world anyway.
No, but if we're not creative, then we're never going to move forward, are we?
No.
We're going to be stuck in the same cycle over and over and over.
And we've done so much in such a short period of time. With technological advances now, so much stuff can be taken away from us, so much mundanity. And I know there's a lot of fear around these things, but my God, imagine the opportunity to create. People are so scared, and it is scary, but what if it forces humanity to become less operational and more creative? Is that a bad thing? I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Eventually. I know there's going to be trauma with change, there always is, but I would love nothing more than to see every single child be celebrated for their unique value and their unique creativity, as opposed to, what can you do? Are you able to move these numbers around a spreadsheet? That's what I was trained to do. I'm a mathematician. I went into banking because I can move numbers around a spreadsheet. No thanks. I'd rather not. So that's scary for some people. Some people don't want to think. Some people don't want to be sovereign. Some people don't want to take responsibility, and that's their journey. But I'm here for the ones that do.
Yeah, precisely. Precisely. And this whole thing of sovereignty, again, is something that's starting to come into my world more. There's more conversations happening around it. And, had you tried to have that conversation with me a few years ago, I wasn't ready. In fact, I remember hearing about it. Some young lady at a big place in Peterborough, a big training place, and she stood up and started talking about this and was basically like, there's somebody talking nonsense over there, kind of attitude was given to her. And I listened for a little while, but I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But literally in this last year, 3 or 4 different people, 3 or 4 different sources, bringing in different aspects of what that's all about. And I can see the beginnings of it, the glimmers of it. I don't know how it's all going to work for me personally. I don't understand enough yet, but it's a very attractive concept.
It is scary, and I don't blame people for not wanting to hear it. There's certain family members of mine that don't want to go there. They would rather just be told what to do. And they like that. And there's nothing that can be done. And they're not even necessarily worse off. Some of us are in this world of sovereignty and doing everything themselves. I have a lot harder time than some of my family members that don't have to think about these things, and they have, they're provided and looked after, and it's all good, it's easy. But for me, if that comes at a cost of my own, as I said, creativity, expression of highest self, I don't want it. I've been there. I've been a lady of leisure. I've actually been in situations where I don't ever have to try or think about anything again. I'm financially free. I don't have to work. But my God, having hunger, I can feel it in my body now, having hunger and drive to find out the truth. The truth. Like, don't you want to know the truth? You wake up every day in this incredible environment. You've got 5 or more senses. You're surrounded by other people. You've got all of this incredible resource at your fingertips, literally, but you choose to be asleep. And you know what? I'm saying it sounds very judgmental. If I do come back, maybe I'll choose a life of being asleep because it'd be a nice rest. Because this life, and that's why I don't blame anyone. Maybe they were a high-level, looting philosopher in the last life, and they were just like, you know what? I need a blinking rest. I need a rest. I want to hear it. And everyone's all converging to the same thing. But I absolutely agree with you. It is delicious. It's magnetic. It's exciting. It gives me life. I watched something the other day that said the way people age, the way the brain ages. I've forgotten what it was on BBC, and it talks about the stuff that Winford Dore is going to talk about as well. Challenging the brain with new things to learn will literally age you backwards. You can lose 15 years of your, not lose 15 years, that's the wrong, reverse 15 years of your cognitive age by learning new things. So
it's remarkable, isn't it?
I know. Isn't that a clue? That's what we should be doing rather than go, you know what, I know everything. I don't know shit. No. I literally
the more you learn, you realise the less you know.
Yeah. I think that was Socrates, and I think that's a quote that Robert Edward Grant puts on his Instagram. I'm sure it's Socrates. The more I know, the less I No, the more I learn, the less
I understand, the less I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it is so true. And that's so exciting. I can't think of anything worse than sitting there going, I know it all. Like, where's the joy? Where's the discovery?
Yeah.
Where's the wonder? Where's the awe? Where's the, like, you know, the excitement of serendipity and synchronicity and magic?
When you just get those
exactly
moments.
Yeah. Imagine going to a magic show and the magician showing you how all the tricks are done. How boring is that?
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Yeah. So
you kind of want to know, but you really don't.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think life is about pursuing the truth. That's why, you know, we've got this veil of forgetfulness. But from the, again, a quote from the Bible, I'm not particularly religious, but I think in all religions and all ancient texts, there's so much gold, you know, and it said, you know, you only come to me through the eyes or the mind of a child. And I believe that sense of play, safety. Imagine if we all felt safe. Imagine, if we all felt safe and we all had sovereignty, we all knew our higher selves and we were constantly aware of our guardian angels, who I've got a theory about, but I'll save that for another day. If we become so secure in ourselves and so present and so coherent and so grounded, then what? Then what? There's nothing to do but play. And that's when I do believe the kingdom of heaven opens up, because we become like children again.
Yeah. Play, explore, enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And play with others.
Yes.
Playing on your own's boring.
Yeah. 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 Go to your room and play.
No, like what? Even if, you know, you were sent to your room as a child, I always sat and absorbed myself in a book.
Yeah.
That's another person writing that to connect with me. Connection, reconnection, remembrance, play, it all converges to the same thing. We just want to be together. That reminds me of an advert from the 80s. I'm sure it was a
bit of subliminal stuff in there.
Art, music, TV, media, even though, you know, moan about lots of things, particularly films, there's spiritual truth littered all over the place. It's just what we choose to open our eyes to.
Absolutely. And you don't have to open them much to start to see more, do you?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I'm asking for signs all the time. Like I said, I've got this physiological dowsing rod now in my body, which is great.
I'm just hoping you're manifesting it this way as well. It sounds amazing.
My field is letting you find the patterns. It's in there, and then honestly, because I picked it up from Fabienne, that's her thing. So it's definitely a very useful thing. It's like gut instinct, but more pleasurable.
Okay. Yeah.
It's subtler and more pleasurable, but it's absolutely amazing. I just think I'd love to see everybody, you know, going through life, being embraced into life and welcomed into life as children to play, which might sound ridiculous at the moment, but, you know, got these machines to help us now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're there for.
Maybe.
Actually, one thing I do want to just put in is Yubraj Sharma, and I will credit him with this. 25 years ago when I was studying with him, he said the future, obviously AI is coming in. He knew about it way, way, way before it was commonplace. But he said machines will be powered by love. Oh. You won't be able to get in your car. If you're not present enough in the state of love, it won't work. And I just thought, sounds a bit forceful, but wouldn't that be amazing if actually the way that we actually got energy was via love and being able to, you know, literally absorb energy from the field, which quantum physics is getting very close to describing. Dark matter makes up most of the universe. It's very exciting, and that is energetically dense. So say we could actually channel that and use, and love is supposedly, as I said, these are not my theories, they're just things I've picked up along the way. Love is the most coherent way of connecting things. So when those electrons are spinning around a nucleus with protons and neutrons, there's love keeping it together. So it makes sense that at some point, perhaps that love could distill energy into... Imagine if you were being an arsehole and your car wouldn't start. There'd have to be some backup battery. But I love thinking about that. I'm always in a dream world about what life could be. But that's why I feel like my life is a dream. It is. I'm very, very blessed.
What about lucid dreaming?
Oh, all of my dreams are lucid dreams. I don't have any normal dreams anymore. I've forgotten how to have a normal dream because I have been practicing lucid dreaming since I was about 18. I had my first panic attack. And funnily enough, I was looking in a mirror, squeezing a zit because I still had zits at 18. And I absolutely, I just started having out-of-body experiences. I started experiencing coming back from sleep. So I'd sleep and I'd come back into my body. And instead of waking up in my body, I'd wake up half of my body, half of my bedroom wall, and I'd have to wiggle out. I mean, I thought I was psychotic, but went to doctors, nothing wrong with me. They were just like, it'll pass. It's a phase. You're stressed, you know.
Oh, God, famous last words.
Yeah. They tried to put me on Stematol, which is because I was having dizziness and all kinds of, and they were like, just you're stressed out. It's exams. But then I was like, maybe I should get control of these dreams and so then I learned how to lucid dream. So now I don't know how to not lucid dream. It's great because I get to fly, which is my favourite thing. But I just hope I never jump out of a window or anything because my lucid dreams are so vivid, but they're never very useful, Debs. They're always just mucking about.
Yeah. Like you said, we all need play.
Just play. I'm just playing.
We all need
playing.
play.
Yeah. But dreaming, I think, is, again, we don't understand it.
Oh.
Well, I think with the work that you've done with anaesthesia is very fascinating. Where do we go? Where do we go?
I very definitely try to plant positive imagery in people as they're going off to sleep.
Oh, wow.
You know, something that is relevant for them.
Oh, my goodness.
So a 12-year-old boy, really anxious, needle phobic, went to sleep with a big grin on his face because in his head, he was pitch-side in Dubai watching Juventus.
Fantastic.
His mom's there, tears streaming down her face because she was just like, this is amazing.
Wow.
And, you know, a lady just the other day just wanted to be on the coast with various family members and doing things. And so we're talking about it and I'm saying to them, what can you see? What can you hear? Are you that close that you can hear the waves? Can you smell that sea salt? And just ignite as many of their senses as I can.
Yes.
So that image is as real as possible in their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
And, you know, it's not always possible. Not everybody's susceptible to it. But anybody that is, I'm right in there straight away.
Wow. You know.
Anybody that works in the anaesthetic room with me now knows that if that is starting to go on, they can see it. Quiet. Everybody else is just quiet. So the patient just hears my voice. And it's just delightful. And everybody in the anaesthetic room is like,
wow.
You know.
It makes me want to go under and I'm scared of it. But that's such a gift you're giving. That's such a gift. I don't know anybody. You're literally midwifing their astral body or whatever you want to call it, whilst they're being looked after by the surgeons. Yeah. You're literally the midwife making sure they get delivered back safely.
Holding them.
Yeah.
Nikki Wakeman did that picture that you see behind me whenever we're on a Zoom call.
Oh.
Which is her capturing my soul energy. She just came and grabbed me one day and she goes, Debs, I've just got to paint your soul energy.
Wow.
I've just got to do it. Will you let me do it? Please, will you let me do it? I said, yeah, of course you can. And the big sort of fluorescent coloured globe shape, if you like, is what she saw as me holding space for people.
Oh, wow.
And she said that she thought initially it was to do with exactly what you've just, you know, beautifully worded. But she says, as I was going on and putting the different layers on, I saw that it wasn't, I'm not saying that that isn't a thing. She goes, but it's not that. She goes, it's you as a person. You hold space for people.
You do.
And I'm just like, oh. And she saw various past lives as a healer, as a tribal leader.
Wow.
One of them was, I was an African male, and for some reason out on a hunting party and had got left.
Oh.
And I got separated from the party, and they'd gone back, and obviously that sort of situation is potentially seriously life-threatening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for me to learn something. And I just love it.
Oh, it's so exciting.
I just love it. So that picture behind me,
I'm going to look at that next
means
time.
a lot. Yeah.
I've seen you in action, obviously, with what happened. I've seen you in action. And I asked my guide or angel, whatever, what is it about certain people that have to be in those sort of life or death situations? I'm not a doctor. I've never had any medical training, but I've been around a lot of things. And they just said, obviously in your case, you've got the actual biological, physiological knowledge to bring someone back, whether it's planned or unplanned. I've seen you do it. But your presence is an enormous, it's like holding a doorway open, actually. And that was what I don't know what exactly, because I've been in situations where I've, too many, I thought I was causing them. A bit like old, what's her name, Agatha Christie or Miss Marple, they're always somewhere, wherever they are, there's something going wrong. So I thought a little bit like, obviously it's your job and you obviously have to be in the hospital so you know these things are happening. But for me, it was like unpredictable to have things happen. I'd be like, why am I here again?
Yeah.
One of my first ones was when my brother had some seizures as a child, and I had to be with him. One was when a woman was walking onto a railway, onto the platform of a railway, and she just walked, and the train was coming, and she just walked under the train.
Oh.
And I was literally a few feet from her, and I had a huge. Now I'm sure everybody would be the same. You have to stare. But that staring is not just curiosity. I was staring and I just had the voice or whatever in my head say, don't take your eyes off her. And I just was there. I missed my train to work and I just stared at her and just she fell directly in between the rails of the train. She walked away from that. The train.
Thank God for that.
I know. And I had this thing, I have to stay here while this is happening. I'm like, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to see her come up. I didn't know.
No.
She might have been in bits.
Yeah.
That was when I was probably about 18. No, I was probably about 21.
Oh, my goodness.
Since then, I've just had time after time after time after time of all these things. And I'm like, that's not very great, is it? I'm really bad luck. But actually, now I'm starting to think, now you've said that as well, I'm starting to think maybe I'm just a placeholder. That's it. Just keep the gate open. Keep the gate open. Keep coherent. Keep calm. And I do. One of the ADHD symptoms is being incredibly calm in a crisis. So I think people with ADHD have this incredible energy that can feel chaotic, but actually bring it down into an emergency situation. There's nothing like them.
Yeah.
I
think I was quite focused.
You are the epitome. I could never even in a million lifetimes do what you do. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Your level of groundedness, being able to be that calm in a crisis is beyond. I can't. I just can't. But I think that's why, I think we as humans do a lot of stuff. When we walk, if you see an accident and everyone slows down, what if people are praying? What if people are holding the space open?
Yeah.
What if people are, it's not just curiosity? What if actually every time we, send good thoughts or send hugs or whatever, we're actually doing some really good stuff for people. Just because it's not seen doesn't mean it's not happening.
Absolutely.
Every time I hear an ambulance, I say a little prayer, and I know lots of millions of other people do as well. What if that actually does work?
Yeah.
I'd like to think it does. I know you're there practically doing it, but I do think mental energy, if the Hermetic laws are right and all is mind, mental energy can help hugely. So,
well, we had all the different healing modalities present in the room.
Oh,
that
we were
evening,
so blessed.
didn't we?
Yeah,
It was
so
unbelievable.
blessed.
And this year, when I saw that particular individual walk into the room, I am literally like, I am watching you. Don't you dare.
I was holding the field. I was like, yep. This, I remember because we had a few people that were struggling a bit or not feeling great. And for anyone just listening to this first off, and we had an emergency health situation at one of my events. But I made sure, well, I was very happy to see you in the room, Debs. But I was trying to mitigate it all from a let's say a 3D point of view. But I was also, again, when someone says holding space for someone, it's such a sacred thing to do. I mean, you do it, you're midwifing literally astral souls in and out every day. I mean, there's nothing more responsible than that. That can't be compared to anything anyone else does. It's absolutely incredible. But people, therapists, consultants, people listening and watching this, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
They're holding space for other people. They're holding patterns. And their pattern is probably a trauma that they have overcome, and they've got the sacred geometry in their field, and then they can translate that to the other person. That's what I believe holding space is. I believe it's taking whatever it is that person needs and just opening it up to say, it's going to be all right. What's more healing than a future version of yourself or someone that's been through something to look at you and go, you've already succeeded and I'm just here to remind you.
Yeah.
It's so comforting and lovely. So holding space is a sacred act.
Yeah. And I must admit, I was so relieved this year when we got past the time. Do you know what I mean? In the event that...
Yes, absolutely.
I was like, right, go and party now.
I was there. I was there with you.
I didn't even have a drink on these events until the very last thing, just before I went to bed. I had a drink.
I only had 2 glasses as well because I was, and my daughter as well, who'd witnessed the year before. The year before, it was very important for her to witness it being okay.
Yeah,
and definitely. It completed that cycle.
Yeah,
and I didn't say too much, but when I think it's in Speed, the film Speed, it was about Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves falling in love, and they said that often love comes from being in extreme situations with each other. And it is. It's like a. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah, we do have a bond now.
Definitely.
Me and him.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him up here to talk about it
Oh
as
my
well.
goodness, yes.
Keep asking him, but trying to pin him down is like, it's worse than you.
I am real pain in the ass. I really am. But I'm so glad I waited till now because I wouldn't have had this stuff. Yeah. I wouldn't have. I've always been a mathematician, but I'm now working on something I really believe is going to help people because one of the things I hate the most is if, as a mother and as a guide, as a leader of any kind, and I'm sure anyone would resonate, if you know what's good for someone and they don't listen. Oh my goodness.
Frustrating.
Yep. I get so upset. So I see people struggling. I see people in financial difficulty. I see people in emotional difficulty. And I know what will help, but it's my fault that I can't get that information over to land in the right place. So now I'm working on why and what can I do better. And everyone's unique in the way they express themselves. So I'm definitely going to deliver it in a way that doesn't require any more effort. In fact, less effort. Sacred geometry, all kinds of different techniques. I'm going to make it so easy to access because I really believe that there's certain things that I've been gifted with. Oh, my right scalp is tingling, so it's true. There's certain things I've been gifted with and the knowledge and the aptitude for maths is one of them. I have to be using that in my expression somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not at the moment. The only maths I do is how much comes through PayPal every day. That's too boring. I need to be doing the stuff that really matters. Yeah, proper math. That's arithmetic. Yeah. That's what you taught at school, arithmetic. It's not maths. Maths is sacred. Maths is information. Maths is design. And that's what I want to be translating in my work so that people can breathe a bit easier, allow the unconscious and subconscious parts of themselves to do the heavy lifting, and then we get to play. That's the goal anyway.
Gorgeous. I have one final question. Will you come back when you've got it sorted and tell me all about it?
100%. Yes. I'm still a baby. I've still got so long to go, but I'm going to use you guys as my testers.
Wonderful.
My guinea pigs. I need to know this is real.
Yes.
I need to know it's real. Yeah. So, I'd love to come back and talk about it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming today.
It's an absolute joy and pleasure. I love it. I could sit all day. I don't know. Time is completely dilated or expanded. I don't know how long we've been here. A couple of weeks.
But thank you, my darling.
Thank you, sweetheart.